What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
The encounter with the Spanish in the Caribbean is fascinating because when they arrive on Hispaniola, there is this wonderful quote. They meet with the Spanish, and the Spanish are very wary of them because there's a sizable military force that they can see on these ships. One of the men on the crew says, "Our men provided 2 banqueting houses, one for the gentlemen, the other for the servants, and a sumptuous banquet was bought and served by us with the sound of trumpets and consort of music," so a little band playing, "wherewith the Spaniards were more than delighted, which banquet being ended, the Spaniards in recompense of our courtesy," because it's a beautiful part of the world.
Yeah.
And
it's on the west coast, southern west coast.
Down if you head down the peninsula that sticks out from England in the southwest, it's on the north coast there. What's really
we'll pull up a map on the screen so people can see it. So
there we are. There's Bideford. So if you zoom out, you'll see where it is. So there it is. Keep zooming out.
So you're on
and then you're more familiar now where you are in the map of England.
So this is what, like 5 hours from London? 4 hours?
Yeah, actually, no. You could do it in about 5 hours, I think, these days.
Okay.
What's really extraordinary to think is that after Jamestown got settled, Bideford became the principal port for all the tobacco that was being produced in Virginia, got shipped back to England, and most of it went into Bideford.
Why Bideford?
Because it was the convenient port. It was close at hand.
But hold on a second. Can you zoom back in on that, Alessi, on where Bideford is? But it's technically inland. Like, why wouldn't it zoom in more, if you don't mind? Why wouldn't you use Westward Hole or something, or is that still Bideford there?
No, Westward Ho is it's just a sandy beach. You need a deep water port. The river level at Bideford has the second highest tide after the Bay of Fundy.
But what about the ocean? Can it beat the ocean?
It's silted up quite a bit now from what it was. It used to be wider and deeper, that port.
Yeah, because I always wonder about this, like, for example, why in America, I really should look this stuff up, but like a major port we had on the South Jersey side is Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. That makes sense because it's a big city, right? Like it's a huge city, as opposed to making the port like Cape May because it's much smaller. Yeah. But this seems like it's not like that big a place. And I guess the other places are just like very rural and there's not much going on there.
Yeah, I mean, the population today is 15,000. The population in the time of the Lost Colony would have probably been around 3,000.
Yeah, see, that's not that much. Like,
the most extraordinary thing, though, that so much tobacco was going back into Bideford and the ships weren't going over empty. They were taking all the mercantile stuff that the colonists in America, in Jamestown and so on, needed, that they couldn't get there. They were taking over linen and all sorts of things and what have you. So perversely, Bideford played a major, major part, not only in trying to settle this first colony, the Lost Colony, but at a later date with the tobacco trade, we played a major part in actually securing America as a nation by bringing it all the merchandise that it actually needed for the colonists to be able to survive and settle.
And we're at this point, like, guys, if you'd like to join our Patreon by hitting the link in the description below, not only does it support our show and allow us to get great guests like this and put out more content, but you're going to get exclusive access to the Julian and Alessi show, which is the show we post only on Patreon. That's with my producer, Alessi Alaman, and I, as well as some behind-the-scenes content and some extra content with guests. So hit that link in the description below, and I hope to see you over there. Because we're talking about this initial potential colony, and they didn't even know, they couldn't even grow proper crops. The guys wanted to leave. Did they have any idea maybe not 1585, but by 1590 or something, was there an idea back in England that, whoa, there's a huge tobacco and even like cotton opportunity in America, or was it still a guess?
Right. They were aware of tobacco. Because they had just been sort of discovered pretty much then. They found the Spanish were using it. And, of course, the Native American Indians were smoking tobacco, a very strong kind of tobacco, but it was noted. But it wasn't really until, after Jamestown was firmly established and they found that the tobacco grew much better in and around Chesapeake Bay that it really became a major, major export for the colony.
Outside of smoking, was there any good use for tobacco?
No.
I was going to say, that's like...
It was a fashion.
Okay.
It was literally a fashion. And when it was first brought back to England, it was a very expensive fashion. If you saw some of the clay pipes, the very early clay pipes from when tobacco first came back to England, they were about 3 inches long, and the bowl that you put your tobacco in would barely hold not much more than a thumbnail, because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
And then as it became more and more, got imported and more available, the bowls got bigger, the pipes got bigger, and it got cheaper.
Was there anywhere in the Eastern world where they were previously growing that?
Not that I'm aware of, although I must admit it's not something I would know.
Not in the Middle East or anything?
It's not something I would know, to be honest with you. I don't think so. I think there's various species of tobacco leaf, but the tobacco leaf that was cultivated here was kind of seen as the major player. Excuse me. The sad thing about Bideford was that when we talk about the price of tea and you guys throwing it in the harbour, as we did a minute ago,
that's right.
It wasn't really England that suffered from that loss. It was Bideford, because you stopped exporting all your tobacco back to Bideford, and literally overnight Bideford collapsed as a port.
Sorry, pal.
So you owe us, guys. You owe us big,
There were only 3,000 of you. It's a write-off cost. I'm sorry.
Guys,
it just is,
guys.
It's a big country.
We had this guy called Strachan Carnegie, who was mayor of Bideford in 1910, and
What a name!
His nephew was Andrew Carnegie.
But
and
wait,
Andrew
Scottish.
Carnegie gave Bideford its library.
Wasn't he Scottish though?
Yeah, originally, and then he went to America and then got involved in something called
But
steel.
Bideford's
didn't he?
not in Scotland.
No, but his
family
uncle
there?
was mayor of Bideford, and he persuaded Andrew Carnegie to give us a new library. Now,
This is crazy. Until I talked to you, I didn't even know what Bideford was. Never heard of it in my life.
crazy little town, because you go there,
Yes.
it's very sleepy backwater. It's kind of twee, it's kind of quaint, it's got some really lovely little places there, but it's kind of like, oh, guys, So I digress. That's the story of Bideford.
No, it's great. It's good digression.
But it's kind of like trying to give people a feel for where it all started, what really was kicking off with the Lost Colony. It was all focused around Bideford, really. That's really where most of it actually, the story took place.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.